testing what combinations of scenarios would occur, what are the different cases that would occur. If you do this, what would happen based on different techniques that also we'll discuss later. They will jot down them, and those will be called test scenarios. So test scenarios, once they are jotted down, they have to elaborate them, so in step-by-step manner, and those will be called test cases. Okay, so test cases will basically be the elaboration of test scenarios, step-by-step manner. Like even if a novice will read, they should be able to understand them. So in such a way, they have to write them. So we will see these two, and you will see these as a homework and in lab. So don't worry right now. And once they write test cases, they have to actually perform these on the application under test, which is called execution. And after some time, they have written some 100 or 200 test cases, and execution will become very cumbersome because they have to spend a lot of man hours. In order to overcome this, the automation team can come into picture, and they can actually automate these test cases. Okay, and after the automation of test cases, they can actually hand over it to automation team, and they will take care of the execution. But manual testing team has to still write the test cases and do the testing for the newly coming requirements. So only the automation team will come into picture if these requirements are old. The new update requirements or changing requirements will be still taken care by the manual testing team. So they have to still write the new test cases or update the existing test cases according to the change or update in the requirements. So that's an ongoing process. So that's why we call it life cycle, because once the main release is live, after we go live, the maintenance stage will repeat the whole cycle. So it's a whole life cycle in itself. So let's as a tester, let's say they have finished the testing.
Hey, Sangam. Hello.
Yeah, you have somebody has a question, it seems.
Yeah, I have a question about when you're automating any test cases that should be already tested, right? It should be regression testing.
Automation will come into picture in the later stages, but in the initial stages, the manual testing team will write the test cases and execute them, right?
Yeah.
So once they build like couple hundreds of test cases, let's say, then what? For example, they have 20 members in the testing team, and even if all the 20 members are testing, it will take a whole day, which is actually waste of time, right? So that management will decide to bring in the automation testing team. So they will actually automate this using Selenium WebDriver or Qtp or any other testing tool that they want to bring in. So they will use this and automate all those 100 test cases, let's say, and they will take care of the execution. So now testing,
whatever they're doing the manually, same test cases they're doing the automation.
Right, yeah. So you don't get confused. So the manual, let's say they have built 100 manual test cases, right? Now once they hand them over to automation testing team, they don't have to worry about them, because you don't need to do both manual testing and automation. That would be waste of time. So once the automation team takes care of it, they will concentrate on the new requirements. Then requirements keep on coming, right? It won't stop.
If requirement changing like every 2 weeks, and they give you the scenario for automation. So in that case,
yeah. So in the agile, right, you're right. In the agile environment, agile methodology, if the sprint, they're following sprint, they will be following two-week sprint or something like that. And these 2 weeks, once it goes, once it is released, the new requirements keep coming, new stories. So the manual testing team still has to take care of those, in the sense that they have to write these scenarios and test cases and execute them at least once right?
So
Then,
yeah, that's mean before you making any automation like scenario, like automating any test cases, that's mean you have to go through first manually, right?
correct, yeah. Otherwise, how can you understand? Well, even if directly automation testing team is doing in some projects, okay, it's
Yeah.
possible. They have to do it manually in the first place. They have to still go through it manually. If it is APIs, they have to run it in Postman. If it is just front end, they have to run the whole scenario in the web browser, Chrome browser or Whitebox at least once, because they need to understand it. Then automation is only for the later stages like second and third. If you want to keep on running this every release, then you need to focus on the automation.
So that's mean like only the regression test cases you can automate it, right?
Correct. Yes. Regression
Yeah.
test cases are the good candidates for the automation because they are bulk in nature, like 100 or 200, and they need to be run every sprint, right?
Yeah.
It just don't create automation regression test cases once and leave them. They need to be rerun every time, and there is a repetition, and hence automation is required. But for the first time, manual testing is has to be done by the manual testing team or automation testing team, whatever the
But
case.
one more thing, like I know like they don't have any regression testing. In that case, they give you the requirement, you have to automate it. But they give you the defined environment, like not giving the testing environment, they give you another environment. It's very stable, so you can automate it in that case. But that's requirement. It should be new.
Right,
They
right.
tested, yeah.
So after the testing is done, then there is a different kind of testing that takes place, which is called user acceptance testing. So by the name, it suggests that it will be done by the business people who are having little or no knowledge about the technicalities of how you test, but they will test from different perspective, which is layman's perspective. That means just like end user, general public, how they test, that's how they test. So if I go on like Amazon.com, I would just search for the some product and see if the product results are coming and go and add it to cart and check it out, right? So that's what I'm doing, and they will do on a very broader level and to see before the main release everything is working fine or not. And also they will come up with some interesting scenarios also, and they will test them, and everything looks fine. They will perform the release testing, and then they will give a green signal. If something is found in the user acceptance testing, then they will blame the system testing people, because system testing must take care of everything. They should not leave any bugs. So they should test in the thorough manner that no defect is left unresolved. So that's the main responsibility of the testing team, as manual testing team or automation testing team. And so user acceptance testing is the final testing, release testing is the final testing, whichever the case may be. They will just try to see if there are any defects which are not caught before. So system testing must take care of everything, otherwise they will let UAT team catch it. So everything is fine in UAT, then it will go to the deployment stage. So what is deployment? Deployment is where the code, developer's code, will be put into the production environment. What is the production environment? Production environment is the environment which a general public can access. So for example, in Amazon.com, if I go there, whatever code is you can access, that is in production. That's why you can access. Before coming to production, it would pass different environments like the development environment, testing environment. So when testers test it, they will test in their own environments like TST1 or TST2. So that environment is maintained by the deployment team, and they will take care of the deployment infrastructure team. We also call them as. And once user acceptance testing is done successfully, they will deploy this code into production environment. And that's when you say application is live. That means it is ready to go for the general public, ready to be accessible by the general public. So that is the end of the one cycle. Okay. So since it's a life cycle, after this main go live or main release, it will go into the maintenance stage. So they will maintain the releases. First release will be 1.0, let's say, then 1.1 or 2.0, 2.1. These are all dot releases in between. So then 3.x, so and so. So this will continuously go until all the requirements are implemented or all the budget is over, whichever is the case may be. So like the maintenance stage, the name suggests it will keep on, the business people will keep on coming up with new ideas, new requirements, or they want to change something which is implemented, so change of the requirements, or they want to enhance something in the application, like put different graphics, put different functionality, etc. So everything, including the defect fixes which are not fixed in the previous release, right? So when you system testing people find out some defects, they will fix most of them, but they couldn't fix some of them due to some technical limitations. Then what they'll do, they'll defer these defects. That means they will postpone. So those defects will come into the future releases. So the future releases will take care of all these. That means that again the cycle starts from the requirement gathering. BS will collect the new requirements and SS will again depict them. System design people will update the design documents, and the developers will code it. Change the code, update the code. System testing people will again write new test cases, update the existing test cases, execute them, and automation people will do the updations accordingly. And use UAT people will again retest it, and again redeployment occurs for the new release. Then new release goes live 2.x, let's say. So this cycle continues. So that's when you say project is ongoing for 1 year or 2 years, right? Okay, so apart from this, there is a separate team which also takes care of training. So you might have heard, like, if I go on Amazon, and if I get any problem, what would I call? I would call the customer care number. So customer care people lift and resolve your whatever problem you're facing. This is true for any other application. You will call 1-800 number or some toll-free number, and you'll expect them to resolve the situation. So that means that the customer care people must know about this application very well. So only people, only if they are given training, that's only then they will be knowing all these things. So that there will be a separate team called training team, which is used for training these customer care people, and they will work on the internal application. So internal application will be separate. When you call customer care, they will have their own application, like database, like SAP like application. They will check that immediately, and they will pull up all your information. So that will be taken care of by the training team. Okay. Now let's go into these business requirements. Let's in detail little bit. In detail in the sense we